Good evening, televiewers. You're welcome to this other edition of The Point on My Media Prime. This day, we are going to be making a point with the National President of the Women's Wing of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, the CRM, Barrister Mispa Awasum, as earlier announced on our Facebook page, is in the house with us for the very first time. She's going to be telling us why the women went out in Yaoundé demonstrating for the release of the national president of the CRM party, Professor Maurice Kamto. She's equally going to be telling us about her arrest and definite release and what the women of the party have been doing with respect to the ongoing Anglophone crisis and the role that women are playing in the CRM. We are very, very honored to have her with us in the studio all the way from Yaoundé. Barrister, welcome for the first time on My Media Prime.
Thank you very much, my dear journalists of My Media Prime. It's a great privilege for me to be at My Media Prime that has been watching for over 1 year plus today.
Okay.
And there was a nice program you people had, My Media Prime movie. But I can't trap that channel again on my TV.
Is there?
I don't know why I can't. I can't find it. Might be they need to search my decoder again.
No, ask your cable distributor in Yaoundé that you want my movies back.
Good.
My movies is still there. I will start with you. I will start by asking you what took the women of the CRM out on the streets of Yaoundé in protest of the house arrest of the national president. What was that demonstration all about?
I'll start by greeting every Cameroonian women and greeting the women of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement Party, and more special greeting at this evening time to His Excellency Professor Maurice Kamto, President-elect of the Republic of Cameroon. So actually, we all know that the CRM has a political vision and a political view, which is to lead the Cameroonian people into a new Cameroon where every Cameroonian can have an opportunity. A new Cameroon where justice and democracy can be felt by the Cameroonian people. A Cameroon where women will not only be considered in the kitchen. A Cameroon where women can be president and vice presidents of the Republic of Cameroon. A Cameroon where we will have more women in the National Assembly and the House of Senate. Not talk of the Constitutional Council. A Cameroon where we will have women as governors. That's our fight. And the President-elect Maurice Kamto came to understand that you cannot govern a country without having maximum female or feminine participation in whatsoever your ideology is. And we've been moving along with the president-elect for quite a good time. I'll talk on my personal self. I joined the party, the CRM, in 2016 in Bamenda, where I launched the party officially in the Northwest region on the 25th of June 2016. I brought Kamto to Bamenda in 2016, where the party was officially launched. And sooner later, I was elected at the National Convention, the second ordinary convention of the party in Yaoundé in 2018 as the National Women's President. Being a young Cameroonian woman, a female human rights activist and a female rights activist, and the one who feels that she can let the voices of the Cameroonian women to be heard, and to make sure that a Cameroonian woman can emancipate to meet the standard of the Western world, the Western political world, economic and the development world in the Western world, and in Africa, like other top African countries, like women in Nigeria, Rwanda, and even women in Senegal.
We've seen female presidents across the globe.
Yes, we have. Look at recently Kamala Harris, who was elected the vice president in the United States of America, originating from the Black clan. So why not a Cameroonian woman? And that's why we decided to follow His Excellency the President-elect Maurice Kamto, to follow this dream, because we know with his ideology we'll be able to accomplish this dream. My dream is to see that Cameroonian women, they emancipate, they get greater positions, opportunities, participate in decision making where their voices can be heard, and women issues, concerns of women can be better treated by the women themselves. So we decided, since it's our engagement, we've pledged to engage and support this fight of resistance, change, peaceful change purported by the President-elect Maurice Kamto. That is why on that day was his 65th day of illegal detention by the government of Mr. Biya, which we found it intolerable as women of the party. If resistance will escape a man, it cannot escape a woman. And that is why we took the pain to visit our president, to find out how he's faring during they'll call it in French sequestration, or during the period which he was illegally detained.
Yeah.
His family blocked from their liberty. They couldn't go out like free people. Their rights were being breached by the government of Mr. Biya and his regime. And we said, no, we are women of the party. We can't, like women, the people who give birth to every child. I said, even Mr. Biya has been given birth by a woman. And same with Maurice Kamto. So we could not abandon him, but to mobilize ourselves as women of the party to go and show him that humanitarian, that courtesy visit, that Your Excellency, we still remain with you despite the difficult moment.
Was it a one-day event? Was it a one-day?
It was a one-day event because we were going to visit him and we returned. Women came from the west, from Litora, from east, and Yaoundé Center, and even from Bamenda. And our objective was to pay him a courtesy visit, hand over the things we brought for him, and then we go back to make sure our president is fine, because he has been sequestrated by the Cameroon military and police, and we don't know how he's really faring, if he's under good condition. Actually, we know he has a project, and we have to protect that project, that ideology. By protecting him, we are protecting the ideology he carries for Cameroon.
Now, you say you went to find out how the president, Professor Maurice Kamto, was faring at the time, but I thought you people were also going to request for his release.
Definitely, knowing how he's faring, if he's not doing good, we ask for his release. And when we arrived there, we discovered that the police were not collaborating. They showed it to us by action and their words that the president-elect is not under a good condition. And we're forced to ask them to release him. We were forced to ask them to release him. That if we cannot pay him a visit, definitely he has been put under house arrest. And in that light, we must ask for his liberation. Let him be released.
Now, how were you expecting that the police grants you access to meet Professor Maurice Kamto, your national president, knowing fully well that they were just executing orders from higher quarters? Did you at any point think that they had the capacity to grant you access to meeting the Professor Maurice Kamto at the time?
The same people who gave them the orders, they could still make the same call and tell them the women of the party have come to visit their president. They refusing us from visiting our president means that they had another secret agenda. Yes, because I will ask, what was the reason for sequestrating him? What was the reason for putting him under that house arrest or surveillance, or what will I call it? What was the reason?
Barrister, Professor Maurice Kamto said that regional elections would not hold if anyway, on the 22nd of September, he asked Cameroonians to get to the streets to take the president out of power, and actually said he was not going to see the regional elections hold. Don't you think that might have occasion is being placed under house arrest? It's
not reason. It's not reason. If the government can actually put somebody who merely declares under house arrest, then he should go and arrest all our separatist fighters in the northwest and southwest region. Which one is more causing threats to the government? Somebody who merely declares in peace, in peaceful plans? We were out and we still maintain the position because we understand what is going on in the northwest and the southwest. And I still say it. If I would take my mouth to ask for the ceasefire in the northwest and southwest, and end to the killings in the northwest and southwest, the humiliation of women genital organs in the northwest and southwest, to take me back again to prison. then I shall make it for the second time.
Okay.
Because we don't have any place to go make our plight back to the government. And if our government says we are in democracy, then they should be able to allow us speak. If this government was wise enough, playing the game of democracy which they are not practicing, they made themselves very foolish to show that we are in strict and acute dictatorship in Cameroon by putting His Excellency Maurice Kamto under house surveillance. Or by rather even arresting me and the women and sending me to Konengi.
Now, you say you people were in Yaoundé to pay a courtesy visit to Professor Maurice Kamto to find out how he was faring, as if you did not know that he was under house arrest. It was difficult for any other person to visit him, but the manner, are you the one who came up with the idea of coming out or dressing yourselves in the streets of Yaoundé? You yourself, you were naked now. Who came up with this idea and what was it for?
The women, we decided,
yes.
Even if I'm the National Women's President,
yes.
but I have a lot of women, millions of women that I govern. And I cannot take a unilateral decision. If the women decide that, Madam President, we have to take this action to visit our president and make sure that our president is safe and liberated from that dungeon where he has been put in by the government of Mr. Biya, then we have to take action. It was a a collateral decision that we took. I couldn't take that decision unilaterally. We decided as women, and we put our resources together to make sure that we accomplish that mission, and which we felt that it was the best thing we could do within our country.
Yeah, but how do you go to pay a courtesy visit naked to your national president?
How can we leave our houses naked? No, tell me. We were well dressed. We left our homes well dressed without any intention to go naked.
So the decision
but the decision was now aggravated and provoked by the police. It was provoked. The decision was provoked by the police. You
took that decision there?
There on the spot, because the women were being instigated by beating with the matrach, as they would call the battle stick. They were being threatened to be beaten, and they had no other force to defend themselves by going naked.
What was the message behind the going naked?
We are tired. If we will come to visit our president, if people cannot express themselves in this country, then it's rather we show you our limits, that we are tired.
The message was passed to the government or to the international community? To your national president?
It was passed to the government, because our national president has nothing to do. Rather, he is another victim in the business. You remember he served a 9 months prison term, with so many others who are still present in prison today, like the vice president Mamadou Mota, Bibu Nissa, his porte-parole, who was picked from his house. Fogewo left his own house to see what is happening at the president's place, was picked up. Pe Zambwe, who is a national coordinator, was picked up here in Douala. You look at even Mamadou Mota, yes, they manifested. But these other persons, what did they do? And now, is it a crime to manifest? Then I think if it is a crime to manifest, our country should review the 1990 law on rights to association, freedom of speech and expression, and all the like. They should review it. Yeah, but talking about the law you cited, you were supposed to notify the divisional. It wasn't a protest. No, but it was a manifestation that brought. It wasn't a manifestation. The police rather helped us to manifest, because we went and met them peacefully. We are going to the president-elect's residence, and they stopped us. You brought food? We brought food and water, and they stopped us that we will not go. The fact that they are stopping us, they are already raising alert. They raised the alert, the publicity for us. They provoked a march for us because. Did I not see you people on the streets? They guided us. But normally a march should be guided. A protest should be guided by the forces of law and order. Yes, with notification, with authorization now. And you know that the CRM, being a party guided by legal gurus, there is no manifestation we take without notifying the government. So they were duly notified? It wasn't a manifestation, it's a visit. Tell me, if I want to visit you, do I need to go and inform the GO that I want to visit you? When did I start? Maybe we should review and make new laws to suit the context. I cannot want to visit my father and I go to the GO that I want to visit my father. No. It doesn't work that way. Neither is there any law that previews for that.
Now, already before going to visit Professor Maurice Kamto,
Yes.
other persons have been making attempts to visit him and were sent back. What were you expecting? You expected that the police or gendarmes were going to open the doors for you to go in. Were you not already anticipating?
No, we were not. We didn't anticipate because we didn't see anything wrong in visiting our president. And even if our president was blocked because of the declaration that was made by the coalition for peaceful change in Cameroon, then it wasn't a reason for them to stop visits. Because if visit was prohibited, like what I told them even at the commissariat, I declared it in my statement. The best thing to do is to make an official communique that visit is prohibited at Kamto's residence. If not, you will still find people who go there
Before then, had your national president received anybody?
I will not tell. Maybe he can tell us, or the police should tell us if they have a register or some people were visiting. I can't tell.
Okay, you were arrested, and many persons talked about it nationwide and internationally. Why were you arrested? Personally?
They arrested me that I organized a march.
An authorized march.
On the 22nd of September.
Okay.
When they say an authorized march, what does the 1990 law say? Our laws, I used to say Cameroon have very good laws. But our government, because they have tuned us into dictatorship, they fine-tune our law. They turn our law to be a kind of a jungle justice law. Our law tells us about declaration. Declaration. Our law hasn't asked us for any authorization. Let's look at the English context of these two words. Declaration and authorization. Authorization means that somebody needs to validate something. And declaration means that you are notifying somebody of something which you're about to do. And that law of 1990 tells us about a declaration should be made known to the authority. And that's what we did. We made a declaration. We don't need the government to give us an authorization. We made a declaration. This is what we are. And now, if they feel that they have some constraints, okay, the law preview, you can divert our venue. But what was so prominent or pertinent in the country at that time, which they would tell us the march has been banned. Why are they banning the march? So the government of Mr. Biya want to tell us that ceasing fire in the northwest and southwest is not a preoccupation. It should be a preoccupation to all political parties.
Are you saying that the government is doing nothing to solve the problems in the southwest and northwest region?
They might be doing something at the wrong time.
Okay.
They are not doing the right thing at the right time. They are putting the horse before the chariot. The chariot, before the horse. Each time a chariot is coming, the horse announces the coming of that chariot. You cannot have an acute crisis in the northwest and southwest. Recently, what happened after the regional election? There was the one of the councillors from Momo East who went to vote in Batibo was killed. I know that man personally. He's gone because of our greedy governmental interests. Not only him, so many others. In the southwest, 3 chiefs were kidnapped. How many came back? 2. Where is the other one? So will Cameroonians continue to lose their family members because of the greed and interest of this government? That's why we say no.
Now, Barrister, you say you were arrested because you organized the march of 22nd of September. Was it not in relation to the demonstration at the residence of your national president?
I was shocked when I arrived the LPG and a dossier was presented against me with a search warrant. They call it in French avis de recherche. And I asked them, why are you searching for me? A party official who has an identified office, which you could serve even a convocation for me to present myself before your jurisdiction. Or why don't you write to my party that the women's president should present herself? But this dossier was there since the 22nd of September, and I was under a search warrant already signed, but wasn't aware of it. And that's why my own case was peculiar.
You only aggravated it?
I only aggravated it by going out. And now, when I was arrested, they said my charge, I have 2 count charges for accessory to rebellion and resistance. Per the 174, 17 and 157 of the Penal Code of Cameroon. And I was channeled before the military tribunal. I asked a question again before the forces of law and order. So now, if expression or peace plan has become an arm or has become ammunition to the Cameroon law, then we need to review our laws to include that into our constitution or into our penal code. The MLC is a legal political party, well recognized, respects all what it takes for a political party to operate in Cameroon. And if the party goes out to express its discontentment concerning what is the role of an opposition party, they stand like evaluators. They stand like a mirror between the government in place and the people. And when the opposition party sees that it's not going, you have to raise awareness and let the people know that it's not going. Because by the time everything turns down, then the opposition party should be held. The population should hold the opposition parties liable for their downfall. And we were barely playing our role. And when they said so, I told them, it's in my statement, I'm a party official, and if my party declares an activity, I have that responsibility to work accordingly or organize this. Let me quote it like the forces of law and order. They say they only receive instructions from their hierarchy. I only receive an instruction too from my hierarchy.
Okay, but now, you were taken before the military tribunal.
Yes.
You are not the lone person arrested in connection with the September 22nd manifestations. We have many persons who are still in New Bera and others are in Yaoundé. What explains the fact that you were arrested and released while others are still behind bars?
Only the military tribunal and the government of Mr. Biya can explain that. Because I was already psychologically, I had prepared myself to work my prison term. I was very okay by it. I got a good experience in there. And I didn't find it anything bad. Okay. Going to prison. Because I had already evaluated the political reaction of the government towards opposition, especially the MLC, the CRM party in Cameroon. I knew that with our constant quest for the ceasefire in the Northwest and Southwest, which is not pleasing to the government, constant demand for the consensual revision of the electoral code, and also the asking for the liberation of the president-elect Maurice Kamto. A time will come when they will arrest me and I'll go to prison. Since it is their game, they have decided to arrest all CRM militants and send to prison. Might be the thing that is weakening the party. They are strengthening us. They are strengthening us. I say it's not a good strategy. I told the government it's not a good strategy. You cannot be arresting citizens and putting them in prison, mixing us with thieves and whatsoever in prison. You are rather strengthening us. You are giving us more reasons to lead better.
Are you saying that you don't know why you were released and how? When others who are arrested because of the same reasons are still there, did you not benefit from some pressures from some quarters that we will not understand?
I think that if somebody is illegally arrested, if you have no crime there, you should go free.
So why are others not arrested?
I think their time is coming where they will have to go free. The government has to release them.
But you were released within days, Barrister.
I think the government should answer that question and not me. Because people, I know, people did a lot of petitions asking for my release. Cameroonians did. The party women, a lot of them, even my other organizations where I belong to internationally, they asked and conditioned the government for my release. So my mates, my colleagues, they asked for my release because they found out that that release was completely illegal. And the government had no choice
but
to release me out of their illegal arrest.
Okay. Behind bars, can you share the experience, your experience there, maybe with some of your fellow militants who are there in Yaoundé prison?
Actually, I had a very good time spent. I had a miserable 2 days at the DRPG. I think our government, we need to work more on our prisons, especially at the cells, the police cells. Because the only nightmare I had in there is my fighting with cockroaches and rats, with mosquitoes. I fought a lot with cockroaches, rats, mosquitoes, which I think if the environment was well kept clean and other furnitures being well structured in there, we will not be having cockroaches and rats. You cannot be sleeping in the same place where there is a toilet. At the DRPG, we are sleeping with toilets, and it's not a toilet which is personal to you, toilet used by everybody. So that was a nightmare, but I didn't bother, because if I have the opportunity to lead tomorrow, or the penitentiary, or Ministry of Justice, I think that that structure where you lock up people to correct their social morality, then it should be at least well appropriately kept clean. It should be appropriately treated in a way that they will be safe. Because what is prison? Prison is to do what? To correct the moral rectitude of citizens. But prison for us politicians is not the right place. It's not the right place, because we haven't stole anything, we haven't killed anybody, we haven't fed détournement de l'argent, we haven't misappropriated funds, public funds of this country. So that prison should be for people who misappropriate, who kill people, who steal. Yeah, they should be sent there. I don't think they should take politicians and join them with criminals. Yes, because if somebody kills, I will even say that person has the right to face the law. You steal public fund that is meant for the people to develop our country, give social amenities to our citizens. You have the right to go and work prison term. We even collect all what you have misappropriated. We return it back to state coffers, and you go and work a prison term. You go and rest in there and reflect before you come out.
Okay.
But now, actually taking politicians and sending to prison, that's dictatorship. Because those politicians, the government should be thankful to have an opposition party that is the People's Choice, which is the CRM, the MLC, who has voluntarily, in several occasions, refused arms from people who propose arms to the CRM. I can quote this example bluntly without mixing words. There were a group of boys, maybe people, Cameroonians should understand, viewers of Prime TV, you should hear this story. There were some group of boys who came and proposed arms to us after the presidential election. But what we did was to let the administration know about it and invited them in a meeting where those people were and arrest them, because we can never engage ourselves in activities against our fatherland.
Were they arrested?
They were arrested.
Okay.
And they are under judicial control now. Yeah, we couldn't do that. And that is why, you remember when our military were being attacked by the Boko Haram, the president-elect Maurice Kamto called for blood donation to our boys, our military, our bees. They were fighting and defending our flag, our country's color. Now, the Anglophone separatist fighters, they have a just cause.
Okay.
What stops the government from taking keen attention to this problem, considering the fact that they themselves know the history of Cameroon? I know they are good at hiding archives and history in this country, because they don't want our generation to understand. I remember a senior barrister, Agbogbala, was suspended because he set a question in the University of Boya concerning the Anglophone crisis. That's clear evidence that they are hiding history for the Cameroonian people. But it cannot, because the Cameroonian people, the MLC has gone far beyond in exposing our culture, our history, and a government to the Cameroonian people.
Now, you were arrested, though it's still funny that you lead women for the release of Professor Maurice Kamto. You are rather arrested for something that took place on the 22nd of September. I don't know whether people are really aware that that is what happened, because most of the people feel that you were taken because you led the women naked to request for the release of Professor Maurice Kamto, but you were in prison for two days?
4 days.
For 4 days?
I was released on the 5th day.
Yes. Now, did it deter you from engaging further actions? Like what you did in Yaoundé?
If it deterred me, I wouldn't have been in Douala today.
No, but you're not leading women on the streets now.
No, if we have to go on the streets, I will take authorization from the DO, which are the competent authority. We love, my dad went on retirement as an inspector principal of police, who taught us legal rectitude, morals, respect our country, respect our laws. So I have that sentiment towards respecting our laws, trained by my father. And even my academic training in the legal field has given me that opportunity to understand and interpret the law. And so I can't breach that law. But I want our government to understand that refusing authorization from the CRM to do any march or meetings, you are rather provoking the situation, because you refuse, we will still go ahead and do it.
Yeah, but how do you really expect the government to say, okay, you are going to the streets to come and take me out of...
When the CPGM mobilized students from University of Yaoundé, Ngwakele, to go and march in front of the French embassy, where did they get the authorization? What was the cause? What was the objective? What was the objective? There should be no political discrimination.
President Macron said he pressured the President of the Republic to release your national president now.
But why should Macron put pressure on Mr. Biya to release Professor Maurice Kamto? Why? What did he do? Then I think if what he's doing to bring justice and democracy in Cameroon is a crime in Cameroon, then they should ban all political parties in Cameroon. Political parties should not exist in Cameroon, because you discover that the government has lost their focus on governmental issues, developmental issues, social issues that can advance our country, investment issues. As an expert in investment, they have lost focus. Ask yourself, where are investors in Cameroon? Ask yourself, why is there a lot of unemployment in Cameroon? Why is there a lot of détournement, misappropriation in Cameroon? Investors will come to Cameroon, after 6 months, 3 months, they evacuate. They disappear, abandon everything, even their resource material in Cameroon, and go away. And now, you discover that we have been tied by the white man.
Are you saying that you are the more motivated to take to the streets after going to prison and out?
If the need be, then we will go. If there is a pressing issue that warrants us to express ourselves by a peaceful protest, the best thing the government should do, the jails should do, is to grant us authorization.
Would you go naked next time if they need?
What provokes a woman to go naked? What provoked me? Do you think me here like to sell my nakedness outside? Then I think I should join a prostitution center and not be a politician. A woman's privacy, a woman's body is considered very secret. I think, and a woman who is married, the husband should be the person having legal authority over that body.
Did you people
but
not
now, if you
that?
find us going to the extreme, it's because we are tired of the maltreatment. We are tired of the barbarism in our country. We are tired of the slavery. We are tired of the war, the killings going on in the northwest and the southwest. You can understand our grief going up to that extent. And I think if our government is a listening government, see what we did in Yaoundé on the 21st of November, it would tinkle their minds to look again at the Anglophone crisis, to make sure that if these mothers who carry babies in their womb can decide out of anger that they were being triggered to sell themselves in the public, which we are Africans. Remember that action in an African context. It doesn't speak well. I think that one, something like that once happened in 1982. Since that, history has never recorded that in Cameroon. Then on the 21st, Saturday the 21st of November 2020, that we made another history about our nakedness in Cameroon. That is to tell you that we don't have any other arm but for our nakedness. To express that the most precious thing we could keep, we can't keep it any longer. We have given it for our fatherland.
The message went through?
I think the message went through. I think so. I'm waiting now to see the reaction of the government.
But your national president is released now.
His release is not enough. They could still keep him, but cease the fire in the northwest and the southwest region. Do a consensual revision of the electoral code to make sure that when I go out tomorrow to go and vote, I'm voting the right person. And I'm voting knowing that I will not waste my vote. I'm voting knowing that that vote will speak for the benevolence.
Are you saying that your national president came second during the presidential elections? Those are votes that will be counted now.
My national president didn't come second.
Okay.
And that's why we're still in the hold-up electoral up to now.
You call him president-elect?
We call him president-elect. I do so because I voted for him. I voted in Bamenda. I voted in Bamenda. And in my hall, I won the CPDM in my hall in Bamenda. I voted. We voted. So, for the government to disprove me, let them do a recount or convoke an instant presidential election to redress that fact. And if they win the MRC or they win Kamto or any candidate that will come from the CRM, I will bow and give my loyalty to that government.
So for now, you're not convinced?
I'm not convinced. The government needs to still convince me that all our efforts did not work for our good during the last presidential election.
Vaisa, you were elected to lead the women of the CRM party. You have been doing that already. What was the responsibility assigned to you as national president for the women's wing of the CRM party? And what is the role that women play in the party? Because most often women are considered as animators within parties.
Oh, the president-elect, thank God we have a very equilibrated leader, His Excellency Professor Maurice Kamto, who feels that a nation without women is like a wall that a man has built without a woman.
Okay.
He believes in women. He believes that, like, women are good managers. Women are good managers. Just give a woman a task and trust in her. Believe in her capacity and see what she'll be capable of doing. Don't influence her. Allow her in her real self and see what she'll do. The woman, the president of the military tribunal is a woman. I'm proud of her. We have other women. Minister Barros Acha. She's up there. I'm proud. But it's not enough. We need more of them. We need more of us women. Yes, we need more of them to take decisions pertaining to us women.
Is that reflected in the CRM?
It's reflected in our manifesto. It's highly reflected. There is a special package. That is why you see our first vice president in the party is Mamadou Mota. Our second vice president is Tirianwa, who is a woman. And we also have the fifth vice president, Madam Aisatu in the north, who is a woman. And you have myself, the national women's president, who is a woman. And I have a bureau of 5 vice presidents. The first vice president, my first vice president is Michelle Doki. The second one is Manefa Florence. She's here with me in the studio. We have Madame Kayo Adel, who is the third. We have Madame Samiratu, who is in the north. And then we have Madame Regina Masogo, who is from the south. So I would like to reiterate also on this issue of tribalism that people talk about the CRM. Look at the sociological composition of our party. Let me even go to Mr. President Kamto's bureau. Kamto is Bamileke. Mamadou Mota is from the north. Tirian Babin is from the south, from center. The third one, Metro Sim, is from Bassa. Look at the fourth one, Tabby Johnson from the southwest. And the fifth one, Aisatu, from the north. What do Cameroonian people, what do the CPD or even the government want from the CRM? What do they want?
Maybe you are not communicating enough on what we are saying now, because maybe many persons will be learning this for the first time, because even when we go to your bureau, your bureau, look
at my bureau. Michelle Doki, who is my first vice president, she's Ibasa. Look at, from Littoral, look at my second vice president, Manufak, she's from west. Look at my third, she's from east. Look at the fourth, it's from the north. Look at the fifth, she's from the south. What do they want from the CRM? What do they want? Tell me where the CPD or this government has that kind of a perfect sociological composition. the CRM has shown them with all evidence how exemplary we make a mirror of the future, the Third Republic of Cameroon. It's very clear. Our Secretary General of the party is from the Northwest, Barrister Don Christopher. His assistant is from Centre too, from Angisa. What do they want? What do they want? Our treasurer, Professor Alain Foguet, he's from West. The assistant is from Sant. What do they want?
Now, what is the role, the key role of women in the CRM?
Now, the CRM, under my leadership, as an intellectual, I train the women to understand that women are not fans. They are not fan clubbers. Women are not hand clappers in politics. We have activities and we have opportunities far beyond that. To make them understand that women are better managers. To make them know that women can be vice presidents and president of the Republic of Cameroon. Yeah, if Kamala considered herself to be, that her position is in the kitchen, she wouldn't be the vice president of our United States of America today. There are so many of them. I just least had even say Ellen Johnson. She has been the vice president of Liberia.
She's been the president. The
president even, and the vice president first, and then the president. So there are so many. Margaret Thatcher, there are so many of them. Even Hillary Clinton, who contested in the last mandate with Donald Trump, she was contesting for president and not even vice president. Kamala even said, no, Joe Biden, I will be your vice president. But she contested as president. So what is happening in the Western world? Why not in Cameroon? And that is our mission, to make sure that the women's war, a Cameroonian woman should be able to impact her community, to be able to impact her home, to be able to impact the world.
Are you imposing that voice within the CRM party?
Very, very seriously.
Are you giving equal opportunities, or you are just sloganeering it?
It's not a slogan business here I'm talking about. I'm talking about what is practicable. Yes.
Your weight is felt within the party?
Very strong. The president-elect knows and respects the women. Respect my position as the women's president. Yes. There's no joke about it. There's no joke about it. Because we understand that we are in a patriarchal war where men feel that women should be their subordinates and they should be the patron. No, but I've made them to understand that we are no longer in that world. We are in the 21st century, about going to the 22nd century. That had long gone in the 19th century, where our mothers did not understand why they should join politics. The wives of Omyombe, Gwanji, I remember in their time during the UPC, they had to transmit even documents under their dresses to take to the assembly. Just because the women were not given that opportunity to freely politicize their opinion. But we thank God that today the government will say, oh, at that level there's freedom of speech, but it's not enough, because it's not even half of what other countries experience as freedom of speech. You saw what happened in Nigeria about the SARS police. You saw how millions of Nigerians were out protesting, and even those who were arrested have been released for peace to reign. But Mr. Biya and his government feels that they have to, as the Frenchman would say, tirailler. They should stop tiraying with the MSC. Let them stop dragging with us. Because we love our country. There is nobody who loves this country more than we do as well. They own the same nationality that we own. They have the same national ID card that we own. We have equal opportunities and equal rights. Unless they want to tell us that we are second-class citizens of which we deny it. We deny it.
Okay, the CRM treats you better than the Cameroon government does for the women in Cameroon. That's what you're saying.
Obviously, because I didn't even hear when I was arrested. I've not read even any female minister of this country wrote anything or said anything. Even a minister of Women's Affairs and Family Planning, she would have done something. Let them forget that it's an opposition party, but look at us as Cameroonian women. She would have made a press conference on that aspect. Was she so comfortable seeing the nudity of women? What does she think is our plight? We are not fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for the Cameroonian people.
No.
The militants, there's something I want the Cameroonians to understand, or the government. We are not hungry. We are not hungry. We are fighting for change. You look at President Kamto, what does he lack? You know his CV. How profound he is. How sound intellectually he is. But he has decided to sacrifice his life and even the leisure of his family for this country.
Yeah, but Mispa Awasum is not hungry. That's what she's saying. She's fighting for Cameroonians.
Yeah.
Now, let's look at the situation in the northwest and southwest regions. We have many women who are now widows because they've lost their husbands. Many are without their children who have been killed. Many have gone through torture. I was reading a story today of a woman who died under sequestration from those who are fighting there. What has been your implications as women of the party towards the plight of the women in the southwest and northwest region?
In several occasions, I feel bad when I talk about the Anglophone crisis because being a daughter of the northwest region, I feel the pain.
Okay.
Now we are out of context now. The political, so there are some people who will not feel it the way we feel it. Like I would say, I can't visit my hometown the way I used to visit my hometown like an Abakwa woman. I've lost that opportunity.
Because you may be kidnapped then?
Yes. Not maybe. I've been threatened severally even on social media to be kidnapped.
Okay.
It's there all over. There are traces, evidence. But I used to tell my Ambazonian brothers, we are fighting the same fight. You are courageous enough to take arm, but I'm courageous enough to use my mouth. And you've seen it with clear evidence that they could arrest me and put in prison. You used to say I'm with the Francophone people, I say Cameroon is one and indivisible. If I was saying so in their favor, then they would have arrested me. That's the irony about it. I thought my arrest has passed a message to them. So understand that we are fighting the same fight, and the CRM is fighting the same fight. It's a just fight.
Fighting the same fight with ambassadors?
No, it's fighting a just fight. They have their own position that they have chosen. And we will believe that federation can be the best system of government. That's why we are fighting. How Cameroon can return back to the federal system of government, where the local government, the regions, will be managing affairs. We don't need to build a school in the northwest and southwest. We wait for decades for Yaoundé to validate it. We don't need to open a touristic center in the northwest, and then, or even in Douala, or that should come back from Yaoundé. They should allow the people manage their affairs, pertinent and peculiar to them. Judiciary, the law, the justice system, their cultures, they are very distinct. You cannot mix it. You can't mix it. That's the error the government is trying to make. You are trying to mix oil and water, which cannot mix. Let's accept the truth. Let's accept nature, facts. You can't mix oil and water. Even if you dilute them, it will never ever mix. So, that's the error the government is making. And now, I've heard so many talks with women that have been displaced from this region.
Okay.
Presently, I can't tell you how many are under my care. Personally, I say personally, I make sure they eat. I make sure their children go to school. I make sure their children are sick. I run for them. I make sure that they can start a new life. But when my fellow brothers, they don't understand what I'm working for. I'm a woman who does things and I don't talk.
What do you mean by they don't understand?
They don't understand by going further to say they want to kidnap me for being an enabler. That's a big error. It's an error that you're making. The same woman who has fled from the northwest and southwest, but there are some that I don't even know. There's even none that I even know. I run to their assistant that I don't even know. At times my phone will ring to come for their aid. I don't know them, but I rush to their aid. We give them talk. We give them training. I train women, even the CRM, how to make eau de javel, liquid soap, the powder soap, the omo, and how to paint, how to dilute, that's to dye cloths, to dye materials. That's the training we have. And we have to anticipate again to promote that women who undergo this training can get a capital to start up life. That's the type of activities we do in the CRM, in the women's wing of the party. It's not hand clapping. It's not a matter of hand clapping. You don't look me like a hand clapper politician.
We have seen the recent events in the southwest and northwest regions. We saw the killings in Kumba. We saw what happened in the school in Limbe. There were some kidnappings at the level of Kumbu and other parts. We saw women come out in Kumba, Bamenda, even Yaoundé. What did the women of your party do?
Maybe you didn't follow us up. We were out. We were out in Douala, in Bafoussam, in Yaoundé. Yaoundé, it was led by me. We went right up to UNESCO. If you saw it on the 29th, that day was even an unfortunate day, that I had a large meeting at our party headquarters. But the government blocked us. They blocked us. They blocked me from entering my office. They blocked us from holding that meeting.
I remember Madame Gobateki.
Good. We were there, and they blocked us not to hold our meetings. We wanted to cry, make our plight heard, deny the killings in the northwest and southwest. And after we were blocked by the gendarmerie of Oja, Yaoundé 4, we left in peace and went to UNESCO, considering as an international organization that they have as one of the objectives to protect the rights of children and the right to education of the Cameroonian children, even children in the world, particular situation they are found in Cameroon. And that's why we went to them and we pleaded and cried. But thank God that the assistant executive director came out and addressed us on that situation and promised us they are going to do something. We only pray that these international organizations are capable to really influence some of the decisions that are hampering the growth of education of our children in the northwest and southwest. Because by the time they distort the educational progress of these children, it's hampering the educational community. It's destroying the IQ and level of understanding in the northwest and southwest.
Okay.
It render our children a bit dull. I can take quite an example. One year my kids didn't go to school. I stopped them, they didn't go to school. And I had to transfer my kids here to Yaoundé. So you discover that it has frustrated so many families. You see women who have become widows. Men have become widowers. Children have become orphans. Nowadays, what a misery. Women give birth in bushes on plantain leaves.
We've gone back to
a bad image. We've gone back to the old days. What our parents lived in the 14th. We are living in the 21st century. Under a regime where we feel that technology has advanced, then knowledge should also advance.
Okay.
But it's an irony with us.
Women declared women's greatest enemy. This is Phoebe Dennis, who should be writing from, I don't know what I see only. He says, that's one reason why no woman in high places said a word when you were garried. And secondly, it's a function of the numbness and lack of sensitivity and poor leadership instilled in Cameroonians by the government in place, and until they are taken out, we are left steeped in this quagmire. Courage to you, madam. Okay, courage. She's gotten.
Thank you very much.
Your message. I'll take this one also. That says, greetings, congratulations to the guest speaker. How I wish the men and women in other political parties bought her vision. Nathan is writing from Mutengene. I don't know, are you also involved with this Suivi Cameroon project?
Yeah, I did. I do. Thank you very much, Nathan. I really love to appreciate that. The first message I was sent, that is a pity, my dear. That's why I said it's a pity that even the ministry who is in charge of women affairs said nothing. That's an error. That is to show that this government needs to go. And it's an error that our government are doing, that succession. They don't prepare their heirs. They don't prepare who will inherit them after they go. That's why Mr. Biya has not even prepared who will inherit him. If he was wise enough, he can enter into negotiation with President-elect Boris Kamto. What does he want? What proof does the government want?
What happened in the TR Congo?
Yes, of course. And you saw what happened in Congo. And after that negotiation, there was peace. There was peace. That's what we've been expecting. That loyally, republicanly, the government of Mr. Biya could enter into negotiation with President-elect Maurice Kamto. After his release, you've heard him severally on so many medias. We maintain the same position. If there is no ceasefire in the northwest and southwest, we'll continue.
Okay, you continue resisting. Unfortunately, we are caught up by time, Barrister.
Yeah, you
Mispa.
said ask me something about Suri Cameroon. I took a whole container in the northwest region to share masks, gels, to protect our people and create awareness, because we even discovered when we went on the field, the people was not even aware about why should they wear a mask, why should they wash their hands, and we took an educative talk. I even advised that the information should be sent even to the Ministry of Health, the delegate of health, so that talks can be made to make my mothers and youths aware, create awareness, sensitize and aware.
My question is, yes, money was contributed from the international community for COVID-19. Nothing was contributed for the suffering people of the Northwest and Southwest region?
No, I think that
you did not want to divert.
No, the CRM, get it clearly, the CRM has been collaborating in assisting the refugees through the Aya Foundation.
Okay. Because
we needed a structurized organ body to do so. Because they have the statistics. They go right up to Nigeria. In Cross River, where I also passed there. I saw the condition. It's very ridiculous. And when we have these donations, we send it through the Aya Foundation.
Okay.
And now, even some other militants or some other sympathizers of the party, since I am in contact, there is I don't know this lady, Madame Neris, she think is hope of something, of an organization, NGO. We've used her to assist the IDPs because they have the statistics. If you discover, I've made several tours, a Tukebe, a Mana, giving aid, assistance to the IDPs. We always rush to them when they need food, when they need clothing, when they need medical attention, and even now that school is going on, to make sure that we can pay the fees of some children to go back to school, because education is a key.
Okay, we are really out of time. This one says, good evening, it's through calling. Okay, my Mr. Liu, good evening, I want you to extend my greetings to her. I love her spirit. Danny Blue is writing from Yaoundé. I really don't want us to look at the messages for this program.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you.
It's not also part of the program.
Okay.
Yes, messaging is strictly for Prime R.
Okay.
Now, one last word to the televiewers of The Point on My Media Prime.
Dear televiewers of My Media Prime TV, it's another young channel that is coming up. We need to keep watching it. We need to remain focused. Remain focused. Don't lose your vision. I want to assure you that with the CRM, there is hope for a third Republic of Cameroon. Just click onto the visions and ideology of the CRM. Now we have the President-elect Maurice Kamto who is in control. I want to tell you that we will not betray you guys. We will not betray you, and you can always count on us, Prime TV, each time you want this voice to come on Prime TV.
Okay.
I will make it available. Thank you very much, Leo. It was a very nice time.
Okay, we want to thank you also, Barrister Awasum Mispa is the national president for the women's wing of the Cameroon Renaissance movement. She was the guest on The Point this evening. We are also very grateful that you took time off to watch the program in and out of Cameroon. We thank the producers of this program. Stay blessed.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.